Am I, F26, being disrespectful to my husband, M26? My spouse and I have encountered numerous difficulties, and we were only married a few months ago. We reached the brink of divorce several times, and just 2 weeks ago, we almost finalized the divorce. At the last moment, we opted for marital counseling. Since then, I have been searching for a therapist, and things had been fairly stable during that period. 2 days ago, I finished work and called him to inform him that I was done for the day. I had been awake since 7 a.m. He typically wakes up at 10:15 a.m. and attended a meeting that lasted until 4:30 p.m. I was scheduled to assist him at his business by 5 p.m. I informed him that I was en route and wouldn't have time to go home first, so I would come directly from my job. I mentioned that I had a meeting and that my migraine was so severe that I nearly vomited during it. He responded by asking why I only seemed to be unwell when it was time to come to work. I was taken aback and asked if he was serious. He then said, "Don't get all upset with me now," and I remained silent. He continued, stating that if I was going to have an attitude, I shouldn't come, but if I could bring good vibes, then I should. He then said goodbye and hung up. I began to cry in my car. I hadn't eaten anything all day, had been working since 7 a.m., and was suffering from a pounding migraine and nausea. I don't receive payment for assisting at his business. I only do so once a week to help him save on hiring additional staff. We have had arguments regarding work as well, where he claims that I don't contribute or support him, even when I am giving it my all. I called him back and asked, "Do you need me to come today? If not, I'll head home." He replied that he didn't need me, adding that when I was doing him a favor, everything was fine, but when he needed a favor, it was too much. He then hung up. The favor refers to our house sitting at my parents' home while they are on vacation. It is far from his work, and we have to share one vehicle since the house doesn't have electric vehicle charging for his car. It's inconvenient for him. I drove home and will copy and paste the text exchanges. He texted me, "It's always because you never cared enough for my hard work, because if you cared enough, you'd be worried, but a time will come too when I remember all this." He meant that I should be worried about his business struggling in my absence. I responded, "You said you didn't need me to come. If you need me to come, let me know now and I will come." He did not reply. So I texted again, "And you don't have to keep doing so many favors for us by staying at the house. You can take your car and return to the apartment. I'm sure my parents would understand, as long as the house isn't left empty," and he still did not respond. This marked the beginning of a Cold War. That night, he arrived home an hour late without any explanation or text. When I asked via text whether he was coming, I waited for half an hour for a response, but he ignored me. The following night, he announced that he was going to go out after work. I inquired where he was going, but received no reply. After texting again, he finally stated that he was going to watch a game with friends. Later that evening, he took his car and spent the night at the apartment. The next day, he texted me, "I'm going to come home late tonight." I replied, "Where are you going?" After 2 hours, he said, "My friend needs help with something." I asked when he would be back, and after another 2 hours, he replied, "I think by 1 a.m., but I'll use my key to get in." At 1:36 a.m., he texted that he was 10 minutes away, so I waited for him by the door. I offered to heat up pizza for him and asked if he wanted 2 slices, but received no response. At 1:55 a.m., I messaged, "It's been 20 minutes, I have to be up in 5 hours for work," and he finally replied, stating, "I told you I'd use the pin." I acknowledged this and went to bed. I felt utterly pathetic after being treated poorly for several days and waiting by the door like a dog, only to receive that response. Today, I began looking for a therapist for our marital counseling. While we discussed which therapist to choose via text, he said, "I will be taking on extra jobs after work, so I will be coming home late. I'll come in using the code." Keep in mind, we used to confide in each other about everything. He would tell me if he was having a sandwich and never left the house. I felt as though I wasn't even his wife, lacking the right to know about his whereabouts. I expressed, "That's all you're going to tell me? Extra jobs after work?" He did not respond to me, but instead replied to other messages about the therapist, discussing it at length while ignoring my question. I sent the following message, and here is the conversation. "Me. To be honest, at this point, it feels like you're intentionally disrespecting me. I am your wife. If you're trying to take out your anger by hurting me with these petty actions, congratulations, it works every time, but it only drives me further away. I distance myself to the point where I no longer care. If you intend to stay out every night until 2 a.m., then feel free. You don't have to inform me. I don't see the point of coming here. Isn't it easier to just stay at the apartment? I don't want to begin Ramadan like this, and some space could be beneficial. It wasn't wise to live together when nothing is resolved and we don't even know if we should remain married. I'm the only one actively searching for therapy day and night, and it feels like you don't take it seriously. We both understand that if therapy doesn't work, this ends, so why aren't you eager to find someone too? And on top of that, you're going to treat me this way. I am so exhausted. Him. I'm at work, working hard. I open my messages to hear your insults. I don't have the energy to deal with this behavior. I'm trying to respond whenever I get the chance. If you can't communicate respectfully, just stay silent. If you're able to speak to me like a wife, then do so. Me. That's disrespectful, and I need to keep my mouth shut. You have no respect for me as a human being, not just as a woman. When something bothers you, you become defensive and accuse the other person, yet you can't specify what I said that was disrespectful. I was direct, unless you wanted me to sugarcoat it. Telling me to keep my mouth shut because of that message is unbelievable to me. Him. Okay, it's probably so crazy that I'm abusing you again. Honestly, I want to smack myself for betraying the people who loved me most for a woman like you. Context: he left his parents to marry me, as they opposed our marriage. Me. I think you should take your belongings and return to the apartment. Him. You could have expressed it much better than you are. Again, I work hard to put food on the table, so why are you always a nagging woman? Why are you consistently so negative and bringing in negative energy? Me. You want me to sugarcoat it after you have disrespected me time and time again. Him. I even took another job so we wouldn't need to see each other as much. But even from a distance, you cause so many problems. End. I am genuinely confused about whether I am the irrational one or if he is. Was I disrespectful? Story 2. Aita. I'm upset with my friend for making out with my younger brother, but my other friends are telling me I am being irrational. Hello. I have never used Reddit before, but I genuinely want to know if I am being unreasonable or not. Context: I am a 17-year-old female in the 12th grade, and I attended a small party last night with just 11 attendees, 3 male and 8 female, comprised mostly of friends from my tennis club. Our ages range from 15 to 17. Among the group were my friend Olivia, 17 years old, also in 12th grade, my fraternal twin sister Bella, another close friend named Gina, and my younger brother Nathan, 16 years old, in 10th grade. This sort of gathering is typical for us. People usually consume seltzers and socialize, sometimes engaging in casual hookups. Personally, I abstain from drinking, so I often find myself as one of the few sober individuals at these events. I have never been involved in any form of romantic encounter, including dating or kissing. Plot. Anyway, I arrived at the party late, bringing pizza with me. The atmosphere felt strange, and the guests were spread out throughout Olivia's house, drinking quietly. I inquired about everyone's whereabouts and learned that my brother Nathan, Olivia, and an established couple were upstairs. I jokingly responded, absolutely not, since at a previous gathering, Olivia had been overly affectionate with Nathan's friend, also in 10th grade, and they had made out, which created some awkwardness. Although I initially considered checking on them upstairs, I ultimately chose to call Nathan instead. He came down to greet me, unaware that I had arrived. The night progressed more smoothly, and I ended up playing cards with Gina, Bella, and a rather tipsy Olivia, who occasionally got up to chat with other guys and girls. During some of Olivia's absences, I overheard Nathan's friends insinuate that he and Olivia had shared a kiss. I began to feel suspicious but remained silent. Gina also picked up on my unease, and when Olivia returned, she asked if anything noteworthy had occurred before my arrival. Olivia insisted nothing had happened, even after Gina pressed her further. It was evident that she was being dishonest. Eventually, it was confirmed by others that the makeout session had indeed taken place, and Olivia approached me, already aware that I knew, appearing apologetic. She is aware that I feel uncomfortable with the idea of my friends being romantically involved with Nathan. A bit more context. I have always had a reputation as the unproblematic. Chill, friend the one who listens and avoids drama. However, at a Halloween party with the same group, Olivia's best friend, Sophia, who is also one of my close friends, was intoxicated and became overly affectionate with Nathan. That situation felt off, but I didn't address it at the time. The next day, Olivia independently apologized to me regarding Sophia's behavior, acknowledging that I had the right to feel upset since I am protective of Nathan. Olivia also expressed disapproval of Sophia's actions. It appeared to be common knowledge that I shared a close bond with Nathan, and it was understood that I would not be comfortable with a friend pursuing a relationship with him. Sophia eventually offered me a vague apology for drinking too much, rather than for her actions, and the impact they had on me. I accepted the apology and moved on. Returning to the narrative, clearly, Olivia knew my boundaries regarding this situation without me having to specify them. While she was inebriated, she approached me with a sincere expression, repeatedly saying it was her fault and asking if I was upset. My responses were somewhat terse, but I did not shout or react angrily. Gina and Bella were nearby, and Gina commented on my reactions, saying she had never seen me this irrational before. When Olivia stepped away again, I tried to explain my feelings to Gina and Bella, recounting all the incidents I just described. Gina, from an outside perspective, remarked that I was acting uncharacteristically and only concurred that she was upset with Olivia for misleading us about what had transpired before I arrived, as well as for me having to learn about the kiss through others. Bella, my twin sister who doesn't share as close a relationship with Nathan, didn't add much to the conversation but seemed to align with Gina, making jokes at my expense and comparing me to Ross from Friends. I attempted to maintain my composure, yet I felt incredibly uncomfortable since I believed I had every right to feel this way, while my closest friends suggested otherwise. After some teasing, they tried to comfort me, but it only aggravated me because they were treating me as if I were a child or intoxicated, when I was neither. I began scrolling through my phone and felt an inexplicable urge to cry. I remained somewhat rigid yet tried to dismiss my feelings, asking Gina and Bella to give me some space to gather my thoughts. After some time, I returned to the main group to play cards and ultimately had an acceptable time, even joking about the situation. Upon leaving, Olivia hugged me, and I awkwardly returned the gesture. However, now that I am home, I feel somewhat upset about the entire situation, especially considering that she was the one who supported me during the Halloween incident with Sophia and Nathan when nothing inappropriate occurred between them. I have always listened to Olivia regarding her own issues and dramas, providing her with steadfast support. I genuinely believe I have been a good friend to her, and she has been a wonderful friend to me until now. I cannot shake the feeling that this has breached a level of trust. Yet, Gina and Bella made me feel as though my response was completely irrational, which is a new and confusing experience for me. I usually pride myself on being the reasonable and level-headed individual, and I believe I have valid reasons to be upset with Olivia. Her behavior was inconsiderate. It is important to note that Nathan is an independent person capable of expressing interest in others, but I never directly communicated to him that I was uncomfortable with him dating my friends. To be honest, I am biased towards him, and I feel the need to have a separate discussion with him about this matter. My primary concern lies with Olivia, as I feel it has been clear to her how I feel about Nathan. Additionally, he is 2 grades below us. Please share your thoughts, as I genuinely feel this issue cannot simply be overlooked. I apologize for any typographical errors.